Dog, look at him. He is a beast. He's a lot more gray than when I first met him, but he's still weird. What up there, Hey, Anthony Donahue, Rice Balls, Anthony the MSG. What's going on, buddy? How are you?
What's going on, BT? Thanks so much for having me. And yeah, I'm not going to go the Clyde route, let the gray rock. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, why not?
Nah, it looks painted on if you dye it. Only Clyde can pull it off, you know?
Yeah, what was the line there? No gray, no play. Something like that. You ain't getting no play if you gray.
With Keith Hernandez, Walt Frazier were in that commercial.
Yes.
But come to find out, as I've gotten older, the ladies actually love the gray.
Well, I mean, lady. I mean, you're married. What do you mean?
Well, no, I just in general. Yes. Women like it. Women love it.
Some of them do. And by the way, more importantly, before we get into your story, our relationship, our Knicks, congratulations on joining the best team in the world. Welcome to fatherhood, brother.
Thank you. It's been an incredible 7 months, and I enjoy every second of it.
What was it like when you first held her? I'll never forget with both of my children. When you first held her, everything changes on a dime.
Yeah, it was awesome. The birth itself was pretty not too crazy. It took about 45 minutes. And I held her right away. And the first thing my Alicia's mother said was, "Oh, she looks just like Anthony," as Alicia's getting stitched up right there, and we were laughing. So it was an incredible experience. We were at the hospital a few days after that and been home ever since. And she's an incredible baby. I feel when Alicia was pregnant, and now granted, I know some babies are more difficult than others.
Yep.
People try to scare you. And maybe they had those bad experiences. But Autumn is a great baby. She sleeps 8 to 11 hours a night.
Wow.
She rarely gets up more than once. And if she's up, it's no more than 30 minutes.
Oh, man.
She naps multiple times a day. I mean, she's incredible.
Did she have Knicks gear on within the first hour?
No, but days, yes.
Oh, well, that's a given.
Absolutely.
Days.
When Alicia gave birth, we had the Knicks on the TV, actually. We lost our third straight game in Chicago. Ooh. So she was born at 10 o'clock, and the fourth quarter was happening as she was giving birth.
Wow. And now what were you more focused on, knowing you? I mean,
we were down like 25 at the time, so I kind of gave up on that Knicks game that night.
It was a shitty game. All right, dude. Your story's amazing. You're one of my favorite people. You've been through a lot. You've been through a lot. Bronx boy, spent a lot of time up in Walton as well. Let's start with this because I don't remember the exact origin. I was telling people earlier today and even yesterday, like when you brought the tray of rice balls in and Wally Matthews started calling you rice balls and it stuck. But how did you even step foot in 1050? Like, how did that happen?
Oh, that's a funny, crazy story. So it was October 2004.
Okay.
It was game 1, Yankees Twins. I believe it was Kevin Brown versus Johan Santana. Uh-huh. I was going to the game, and I got to the corner of 161st and River at the old Yankee Stadium. I made a left, and I saw that 1050 ESPN Radio was doing a remote show. And I used to listen to this.
Was that in the parking lot? Because it
was at stands.
Oh, that's right. I did a bunch of stuff from stands because we didn't have now, listen, we'll get into it all, but the early days of 1050, you may as well had a hanger, bro, like an antenna, because we were doing shows from the parking lot because they were broadcast, infringement limitations. Anyway, go ahead. So you make the turn, you see the station. Go ahead.
I see the station. I see Tom Keegan. I see Wally Matthews, and I am starstruck. I love Wally and the Key.
Yeah,
I had followed Wally Matthews since the mid-'90s when he was with the Post, and also he'd be on Jim Rome back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
I introduced myself to Wally and Tom, told them I was a big fan of them, big Yankee fan, big Knicks fan. And then, of course, I got to give him credit, just in case he's listening or watching. Steve Hart was right there also.
Okay.
So I asked all three if they needed interns. I just finished my 16-week program at the Connecticut School of Broadcasting.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, sure, call our boss. His name's Aaron Spielberg.
Yep.
Tell him you met us and see what's up. So I call Aaron the next day, like 18 times. He finally answers. He says, email me your resume. I email him my resume. All I have is that I work for the city of New York for the Board of Elections. I'm 20 years old.
Yeah.
And I deliver newspapers in Oneonta. And that was it.
And he hired you. Well, then maybe that's why the station was so bad early on. Sure. We'll bring you in. You're flipping. I mean, what the hell's going on? Jesus, that's freaking easy. I mean, no wonder why we struggled early on.
So,
paper boy.
He told me on the phone, like, listen, we got people from, asking for internships from Fordham, from Syracuse.
Yeah.
What can you do? And I said, I can do whatever you want.
Yep.
After a few weeks, he finally brought me in for an interview. And the interview went pretty well. I said I was a big fan of you. I saw Michael K at the station. I was like starstruck.
Yep.
It was when K was still on in the morning.
Yeah.
The end of the interview, he says, I'll let you know in a few weeks. But I'm like, he's not going to hire me, man. So I just go, can I just start now? And he's like, can you come in Monday? I was like, yep.
Really?
Yep. And
I didn't know that part.
Yep.
Okay.
And I was
now, so you were, see, I wasn't sure if you were an official intern or if you were just like Turtle, which I used to call you Turtle, who just kind of weaseled his way in and started doing stuff.
So I don't think, so looking back, I never filled out any paperwork. When I say that now, 22 years later, it was 2004.
Yeah.
So they told me I was going to fill out paperwork.
Okay.
I never filled out anything. And after like a month or two, Aaron was like, can we get like we need to send things in to show you're getting credits for your college. And I was like, yeah, okay, cool. And then after like 3 or 4 months, they said, do you want to keep working here? We'll eventually start paying you. This was about February 2005. I said, of course, didn't get paid till like July, but that's fine. I didn't care. I was living at home with my grandmother. It was all good. But there was times when like Ryan Hurley would say like, do you ever go to school? And I was like, about that. So, yeah, I finished the school program, and I just wanted to be here. And they were cool with it. They eventually hired me around June, July 2005, around the time we drafted Channing Frye, Nate Robinson, and David.
Yeah. Channing was what? Channing was 7, right?
7th. Yeah, you and I were at an event at the Garden that night.
I don't remember what at the draft.
Yep, the first time I ever shot a basketball on the court was that night.
Oh, wait a second, Ann, isn't that the? I think I interviewed Channing Frye's dad that night.
Yes.
Yeah,
yep.
That's right.
Yep, we drafted Nate Robinson, David Lee.
Yeah, D. Lee, my boy. I love David Lee.
There was an event at the Garden, and you broadcasted from the old Marty Glickman Memorial booth.
I do remember that now. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Wow. So the thing that well, I'm not going to lie to you. Number one, the thing that I love about you is your hustle and your heart. The thing that worried me, as somebody who was older and kind of trying to guide you and give you advice, I'm like, how is this kid, because you're 20 years old, still a kid, how is this kid going to make a living? Like, how is this kid going to figure it out? And I remember telling you a few times, I'm like, dude, you can't pay for rent being a Knicks fan. You can't do it. So you found a way to do it. I know you've got all these great events, and we'll get into all that. But what, like, your first foray into the Knicks, who got you into it? It wasn't your grandparents, was it?
Oh, to be a Knicks fan?
Just to start with the fandom.
I would say my grandfather was a big New York Football Giants fan. He loved the Brooklyn Dodgers. He didn't really care too much for basketball. My uncle liked basketball a little bit. I was more into hockey. I was more into hockey, football, and baseball than the Knicks around 2nd, 3rd grade, 91, 92. The Knicks really just myself. Basketball was super popular at the time. The 1993 playoffs is when I became obsessed. And the Knicks were playing the Pacers in round 1. And where I was living in Walton at the time, I had just moved there. If you remember, I've told you this, Rick Smits lived there as well.
Yeah.
So all the kids in town were obsessed with the Pacers. And I knew I liked the Knicks, but because of their obsession with the Pacers, I got a little bit more obsessed with the Knicks.
Okay.
That series it took over my life. John Starks headbutting Reggie Miller, just everything about that time, man. I got obsessed and beat the Hornets in round 2, and of course the Bulls in the conference finals, going up 2-0, losing the next 4. And after that, it was off selling. I made it my whole personality, my whole life, and it was real, and I loved it so much. And went through tons of heartbreak in the 90s. Went to my first game, April 2nd, 1994, versus the Heat. It was actually our 16th straight victory.
Wow.
It was actually my 3rd time going to the Garden. My first 2 times at the Garden, number 1, Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey Circus.
Yeah, we all did that. Yep.
Number 2, a Rangers game.
Okay.
And number 3, a Knicks game.
Okay.
When I went to that Knicks game, and I just saw Patrick, saw Oak, saw Starks. Although Starks didn't play, he was injured that game. Heard the voice of Mike Washevsky on the PA. Everything about
Patrick Ewing.
Him announcing Derek Harper.
Yeah.
Man, what an incredible experience. And I said, I want to be here all the time.
The thing that amazed me about you, I mean, it's so many things, because you really didn't come from anything. I mean, you really didn't. I know you had your grandparents' love and affection, and that's what matters most, but you had no money.
No.
You didn't have a college degree at that point. You didn't even really have great direction because you were trying to figure things out on your own. And I remember this is where I'm like, this kid's fucking different. He's just built for those, you know. I remember.
How do you know what you're gonna say? I'm just laughing.
No, well, but it's true. I'm like, he's different in the sense that and this happened very early. I didn't do it as much, but there were people in our business that were reaching out to you. Yo, Ant, can you hook me up with so-and-so? Can you get me Jamal Crawford's number? Can you get me David Lee's number? Can you hook me up with Steph Marbury? Like, how did you permeate and break through and get those connections? Because there were guys in the business for over a decade that couldn't do it.
So I would just be around. I would be down by the court at the Garden. I'd wait outside for the players to come in because back then the team wasn't that great, so there wasn't fans really waiting.
Okay. Terrible.
Now you couldn't do that. So I would see a player at an event, maybe a meet and greet, and I would tell them about my show. Which now everybody and their mother has a podcast. Back then, I was one of the only independent shows, so I would tell Gus Johnson, Mike Breen, Jamal Crawford, Nate Robinson, David Lee. The list goes on about the show that I was doing out in Long Island with 3 listeners.
I remember that
online as well.
I remember.
And I'd say, "Can I get your number and have you on?" And I would say 98% of them gave me their direct numbers.
Yep.
Every now and then they'd be like, "Here's my assistant." Call them. I remember Trevor Ariza. He gave me his assistant's number, and he came on the show.
He did.
Trevor Ariza came on. Jamal Crawford, Nate Robinson, yourself, Mike Breen, John Starks. I had 4 to 7 listeners at a 540 WLIE in Long Island. I was paying for the airtime.
I remember.
Now, if you would go up to Deuce McBride and say, "I have a podcast, will you come on?" He'd probably laugh at you because a million people say that to him.
Mm-hmm.
But back in the day, that wasn't happening.
Yeah, that's true.
Guys would just give me their number and I'd call them. They'd come on. Stephen A. came on.
Did he really?
Yeah, he did.
Your hustle was unbelievable, man. And so, all right, so you start at the station, you're doing your thing with the Knicks. What was the first role where you and I spent time together?
I would say, I feel like from jump, for the most part, my first day ever interning at ESPN Radio, I took the train home with you.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
I don't remember that.
I did. Yeah, I did.
Were you hanging around like a leech? I mean, first of all, you fight your way into the studio, and then you walk out with people. We're like, dude, get out of here already. Come on. You got the job. Get lost.
The first day, I stayed there till 7 o'clock, and you were like the update guy with Wally and McKeegan.
I fucking hated updates.
I know you did.
Let me tell you, those updates, and I love Wally and I love Keeg, and they are so different. They're such different. Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
I remember doing those updates, and because all I wanted to do was host, and I had come from Detroit and previous stops where, as you know, I was obviously a host, but to get hired in New York, I had to take the updates for Afternoon Drive, which I thought was a good entrance into New York, and I was also doing a Saturday and a Sunday show. I would do by myself. I would turn those updates into a talk show. I wouldn't even have a script. Like, I would just riff for 2.5 minutes. I would do a 2.5-minute talk show. And Mike Thompson, oh God, I couldn't stand him. He couldn't stand me. The only PD I could not stand. He's like, "What are you doing?" Like, he was always up my ass. And then I remember you and I started. What I remember most about us doing stuff together was the Knick TV stuff. And I know that there was a lot of other stuff.
Yes.
But tell everybody.
Live play-by-play.
Yeah. Everybody thinks there's so much glory and, hey, you got this Knicks TV show. Tell them what it was like. And because they lost every single game, basically.
Yep.
Up in that play.
Canceled.
What was it like watching that? You were basically producing my show. What a circus that was.
So I would go to every game. That was the 05-06 season with Larry Brown. I would go to every game as a fan, but then the second the game would end, I would run to the play-by-play to be there with you and do whatever, things you need to get you stats, get you the post-game stuff. If we had a guest, bring the guest to you. We rarely had any current players. There would be times we'd have current players booked, but then would usually get canceled because
when they lost
30 points.
Yeah. I remember we had Matt Barnes, Mo Taylor. I remember those guys coming
up. For sure.
Yeah,
we had Jerry Ferrara, Bernard.
Oh,
King.
Yeah.
So I would run right after the game to the play-by-play. I produced the show. But then after, we would take calls till midnight.
Uh-huh.
So once the play-by-play show got over around 10:45, 11 p.m., I would head up to the 17th floor and screen the phone calls. And you would do the rest of the show down to the play-by-play till midnight, and then I'd wait for you, and then I would drive you back home to the Upper West Side.
You did drive me back home.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
As a matter of fact, you would drive me after the games, but you were my driver. So I was talking about this the other day, or maybe when DiVincenzo ruptured his Achilles. When I ruptured my Achilles, You were basically like my turtle.
Yeah.
Picking me up in my apartment. You were
going
driving me
to
home
Brooklyn
after
to your parents.
Yes, you did take me to Brooklyn.
Yeah, a few times.
About that. Oh my God. You know what I don't understand? And this is a great thing. And you know that there are a lot of people in our business who you get to a certain point, you make a few bucks, other aspects of life start to creep in, and a lot of guys lose their fandom, right? I haven't lost my fandom. Like I'm pragmatic about the business, and I've seen so much of the business that, I'm not like I'm 11 years old, sitting there with pom-poms, but I genuinely still love watching sports, talking about sports, and I still have a connection to the teams that I grew up rooting for. You wake, even like during the regular season, you wake up, and I honestly believe that the first thing on your mind is the Knicks. Like, it hasn't dissipated 1 ounce. And I want to know, it's impressive, but I want to know how you've kept that, because I don't know anybody else that has, not to that extent.
I would say the one thing I've improved with a lot is after losses, I'm not as intense. I learned how to sleep after losses. But I would say I love the team so much. I love the organization. I love the Garden. And even during all those bad years, I knew the teams weren't going to be good, even though I had hope. But I always thought of the moments of my childhood, winning the East in 99 and 94, beating the Heat in the first round in 1998. I always wanted to feel what I felt again. And I was always searching for that feeling. And for a long time, we didn't have any of that. We had a little tiny bit with Marbury, a little bit more with Melo.
Marbury.
But you know what I'm saying? So, we'd win a game in December with Marbury to improve to, one game over 500, and it felt euphoric. And I always wanted to feel that again. I was always searching for that feeling. Now we have that feeling again. But I never lost love for the Knicks, never lost love for the organization through everything. I just love everything about it. Obviously I've built a great relationship with them now for over 20 years.
Yeah, you have a business relationship with them.
So it's been amazing. And nothing's changed other than I said, like little things like, I don't do some of the things I used to do 10, 15 years ago. I don't follow players around and try to get their numbers in the bathroom. I don't do that anymore at all.
I hope not, dude.
No.
Weird.
But I had to back in the day.
Yeah, I know.
But now it's a little different.
I remember for some reason I'm visualizing us in the 77 WABC studio for this example. Maybe the Islanders, or maybe there was a Jets game. I don't know what the hell it was on 1050. And we were doing it in Sean, because they were, for those who don't know,
Hannity studio.
Sean Hannity's studio was here, and then 1050, like Michael K, Stephen A, me, like we would do it right next to it. And I think that's the night that Stevie Francis hit the game winner, and didn't he jump on the table in Washington?
February 2007. That put the Knicks in the 8th seed for like 18 hours. Oh, God. So when he made that shot, not only do we win the game, but we were officially in the playoffs, had the playoffs started like that day.
Yep.
And then a day or two later, they extended Isaiah Thomas. Because remember, he just had the 1 year, 06-07, to prove to the organization that he was worthy. Like a day after that Steve Francis shot, the Knicks extended him. And of course, Jamal Crawford gets hurt, David Lee gets hurt, gets hurt, and we ended up not making the playoffs, unfortunately, and winning 33 games.
Let me ask you this, Ant. Who was we jump around a lot, as you could tell. Give me a player that either the Knicks acquired or drafted that you thought was going to be awesome, and then we'll do the opposite, and wasn't awesome, like just didn't work out.
Could he have still been a good pro, but just didn't work out for the Knicks?
Yeah, you could do that. Sure.
Probably realistically, Channing Frye.
Okay.
I thought we just used him. Even I'm not like an X's and O's expert. I just thought we used him so stupidly.
Yeah.
They tried to.
You know what it was? And this was the frustrating part of being a Knicks fan. For many years, they had no European influence. Then they got Gallinari, and he was good. Not great, but good. Then they made the big trade. So the Knicks were behind the curve from that aspect. But they were also behind the curve for letting bigs shoot. And Channing Frye, Channing Frye should have been stepping out and hitting threes, which he eventually did. But for us, they're trying to win with power forward. Like, what's going on?
The Knicks should have been playing Channing Frye like a Robert Ory or something like that. Have him by the three-point line, flinging in threes, flinging in 19-footers. But instead, they wanted him down on the block, and that's not. And then when Channing went to the Suns and the Cavs, that's all he did, and he was awesome.
He was
really good.
He was very good at that. All right, so that's a good one, Channing Frye. Give me somebody that you feel like, what are we doing with this guy? And he surprised you to a point where you're like, man, he's He earned my respect. He was good.
That we drafted or signed?
Either way. Did you love the Brunson signing?
I liked it. So Jalen, of course, I liked it because I knew what he could do, but I didn't think he would be this. That's for sure.
Okay.
Like I was like same with OG Anunoby. I was excited for the trade, but I didn't think he'd be this. Josh Hart, for example, again. Yep. Okay, he's definitely an upgrade from the guy. Oh God, why am I drawing a blank from?
I'm not sure what era you think. I can help you
out. Trading for Josh Hart. Why am I drawing a blank? Everybody used to fight over him on Twitter.
Whatever.
Just Cam Reddish. Oh,
Cam
I knew he was an upgrade from Cam Reddish. But I didn't know that Josh Hart would be like this generation's Dave DeBusschere.
Yeah. Josh
Hart's been awesome.
That's a good Josh Hart's. He's a freaking dog, man. See, I wonder when the Knicks win the championship. Not if, when they win it, because we're going to win this thing.
We're winning it.
Will you be capable of having that same?
I've thought of this, so I'm not as big into baseball as I once was. But
I know you've given up on the Yankees.
Come on. The Knicks are my whole life. The Knicks are my whole entire life.
Yeah, but you used to be a great Yankee fan.
I was.
Not as good.
Here's what I'm saying: when the Yankees won in '96,
it was
euphoric for me. I wanted it just as bad in '97 when Sandy Alomar hit that home run in Game 4. I was devastated.
That was a tough one.
I was devastated when we lost in Game 5.
Yep.
When we won back in '98. I was on cloud 9.
Yep.
With the Knicks, it's a little different. I feel like I was 12, 13 then. We're in a 53-year drought. So I've thought of that. If we do win it, of course I'm still going to be into it next year. But would I take it? Would I relax for maybe a year or two? I mean, I'd still do everything that I do. Maybe it's possible because it would be so euphoric and so crazy. And someone said, I'd love that. It's a good question to ask like a Cubs fan in 2016 or the first time the Sox won in 2004.
Yep.
Like, the next year or two, were you like almost not as into it maybe?
Yeah. Well, I ask you because, and I think some people might take that the wrong way, but when you're striving and chasing something with the vigor and the relentlessness that certainly you as a Knicks fan have been chasing, when they win this thing, there's going to be, I mean, obviously, again, it's going to be euphoric, but there's going to be an exhale.
Yep.
And there are things in life. It's tough to replicate that hunger. I look at it this way, right? I know you love the Rocky movies, right? And I always use the analogy. Like there's Rocky, who was piss poor and basically a two-bit criminal, with the loan shark, with the leather, hitting the leather, the little paddle ball, just basically living in the streets. And he was consumed with fighting his way out of his personal hell, right? And then when he got the mansion and he won and he eventually beat Apollo, he made all the money, starts making the commercials. Well, now he wasn't ready for that first fight with Mr. T and he got tuned up because he was a little lax because he touched what he was always chasing.
Yep.
That's human nature, Ant.
Yeah, no, I know. And listen, I'd still be jacked up for opening night, but I feel like, let's say we win the championship, right? Or when we win the championship.
Yeah.
I'd probably cry my eyes out watching the banner get raised. I'm not even going to care if we win opening night.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
By 30 opening night, I'm not going to care. Whereas last year's, if we lose opening night, I'm so fired up walking out of that building.
Yeah.
I could care. We could start off 1-18 next year. I wouldn't care.
Yeah, you would. Stop. Let's not get hyperbolic here. Doing 1-18, you'd be in the mental. You'd lose your mind.
No, but I've often thought about winning in the championship my whole life. Even years when we were 10-90, I'd be like, I wonder what it would feel like.
Yeah.
And now we're getting so close, and being in Cleveland last week for that was so incredible. And now we're 4 games away, and I really, really believe it's going to happen. I hope it happens in 6. I mean, I don't think 4 is even realistic, but 6 would be at the Garden.
Yes.
Which I'd be there for it, and that would be great. And I've also thought about
you go into every game at the Garden.
Absolutely.
How are you getting these? How much you paying?
I have season ticket. I'm paying barely anything. When you have season tickets, your season ticket price for the playoffs is not that crazy.
So what is it for the finals compared to your regular seat game 37 against the Pacers?
So my season tickets for the finals are under $1,000 a ticket.
If you wanted to sell them, how much could you make?
I've heard for game 3, maybe like $5,000 a ticket in my season tickets. Obviously, I'm in the 200s. I usually sit in the lower level.
Yeah, I know where you sit.
But For game 3, I'm going to be sitting in my actual season tickets, but I've heard I can get 5,000 each.
No consideration, stuffing that away for the college fund.
So the one consideration would be going to game 4 by myself,
and then selling the other one.
Yeah,
but then you got to be with somebody. That's almost counterproductive.
Too.
So you can be sitting next to some. Come on, dude.
I would say
unless,
no.
wait,
listen,
whoa. Unless you give me a deal,
right? I got to. Most likely, I wouldn't do it. I got a couple brand deal money coming in over the next 2 weeks anyway. So
I know you do.
But not everything in life is money. So I'm going to be there every game. But the one thing I've thought about a lot over the years is, what if the Knicks are up 3-1 going into game 5 and I have a chance to go to San Antonio? Would I want to be there or would I want to be in New York?
You got to be here. You got to be here.
The answer is here.
Here, dude.
I wanted to be in Cleveland last week.
That's different.
But I would want to be in New York for the championship.
That's different because I remember now. I don't really remember watching the games because I was just a little bit too young. But when the Yankees won it in '78, I remember the pots and the pans clanging on the stoop and my neighborhood in Brooklyn going bonkers. And you're up in the Bronx, and the Bronx will be equal bonkers. No, you got to be in New York City.
I think I would be at the Garden watching. And what's interesting, if there's a game 7, and because the Garden does a viewing party for the there's a concert.
What? Oh,
yeah, there's a concert the night of game 7. If there's a game 7,
yeah, but there won't be. Knicks in 6. Does it bother you? I admit, and now there was a point where I was very vocal about this, and then I'm just like, all right, dude, you're being miserable with this. But I'd be lying if I said it didn't bother me right away. When I see LJ courtside, love it. When I see the big fella, love it. Houston, with Leon Rose and all, love it. Clyde, love it. But then you see these dudes who have no influence on winning. And then we don't have to name names. We know who they are. And then there's guys who not only did they not win, but they were central figures in one of the most chaotic, dysfunctional fucking messes in the history of the Knicks. And it bothers me. I'm like, but I've gotten over it. But there's a big part of me like, dude, you don't deserve you're not that. Why are you there? As a super fan, that ever bother you?
A little bit, but I think they just want to show the Knick family. They just want to show that we're all a family, whether you played in the 90s when we almost won, the 70s when we won, the 80s like Bernard King, or between 2000 and 2015. And they just want to show if you wore a Knick jersey even for a cup of coffee, you're part of the family. Is it a little nuts at times? Probably.
Yeah, there you go. Come on, keep it real, dude. There's no bullshit on this show.
But
I can tell it bothers you a little bit.
We had a run. We had a run from the year 2001 to basically 2021, where the team wasn't really good at all. Where there's really not many memories, so you probably have to fill those gaps a little bit. If you're a younger fan than me, you may have loved Nate Robinson a lot more, or
I know
Jamal, things like that. So you separate the losing. So with Jamal had 52 versus the Heat in 2007. That was a great moment for an 11-year-old fan.
Yeah.
But I get it. I totally get it. I totally do.
Would you retire Carmelo's number? You better not say yes.
So I'm a big Melo fan.
I know you are.
The answer is absolutely not.
Thank you.
Retire? No. Should he get love? Of course. He was a really good Knick. He wanted to be here. I wish he came as a free agent. It's not what happened. We jumped the gun. But as far as retiring the jersey, no.
Yeah, it's a joke.
I think they might, because they haven't given up 7 yet, unless a lot of the young players do love them. So maybe if you're a young player, you may not want to take the number 7.
Yeah.
But I don't think they will. But the fact that no one's wore it yet makes me wonder. But I don't think 7 should be retired. I think we know 11's going to be retired. I mean,
no question.
I got one for you. If we win a championship, Josh Hart will be retired.
Who?
My opinion. Kind of like Adam Graves with the Rangers, where if the Knicks won, Oak and Starks would have been retired. We didn't. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
If the Knicks win a championship, I think you might see 3 for Josh Hart up there down the road. But there would have to be a championship for Josh.
That's okay, well, then let's push it further. If they win, then they're not going to get rid of them. I mean, how do you not retire Cat's number?
Yeah, no, you might see. Listen, kind of like the 94 Rangers. You got Richter up there. You got Graves up there.
Yeah, but we're talking about captains here, man, on the ice, dude. Come on.
Well, if Cat stays here for 4 or 5 more years and puts up 25 and 10, then 32 will be up there as well.
What did you think when they hired Mike Brown, the day that it was announced?
I was sad. I was a big Tibbs guy.
Yep.
I knew all about Tibbs' flaws. I wanted him to change a little bit. And I was probably sad with whoever they would have hired. So it wasn't a knock necessarily on Mike Brown.
Yeah.
I was upset we fired Tibbs. I understood why we fired Tibbs,
Yep.
but I thought beating the Celtics got Tibbs one more year.
Mm-hmm.
But I also knew the flaws Tibbs had, and I wish he changed it a little bit, because if he
Yep.
just changed a little bit,
I know
he'll be here probably.
Yeah, but I don't think he was capable of changing to the point where, I think he was so ingrained in his basketball virtues, and a lot of those are good, man. He brought us. He was like the Lazarus of the Knicks. He helped us, But put it this way, I remember saying on the Fan, and I made sure I said it respectfully, but very clearly. Everybody knows this. I would move on from Tom Thibodeau. I did not run from that. I said flat out, I didn't want to use the word fire, but
even after losing to Game 6, the conference
I said I've got to move on from Tom Thibodeau. He's always going to be a Knick. He's a hell of a coach. He's not quite Pat Riley, not quite Van Gundy, but boy, he is really, really good. I would move on. I was okay with Brown. Didn't shit on it. Didn't love it. I didn't really want Jason Kidd. But I do not think, and I want your opinion on this, if Tom Thibodeau's coaching this team, the Knicks are not playing. They're not playing tomorrow night.
It's tough, because if we just finished that Game 1 last year versus the Pacers, we're in the finals. But we didn't. We lost, and credit to the Pacers. I think there's a chance we are, but is it? I don't know. It's tough to say. Would the Yankees have won if Buck was there one more year in '96?
I think they could have. I do. I think, we'll put it this way.
They also got Jeter and Tino.
Yeah, but true, 96 for sure. But the difference, and it's not apples to apples. I know you know this, but I know you know this. But like a manager, all right, you're writing out the lineup card. You're not necessarily dictating the style of play.
Yeah,
it's not the same. You might put Paul O'Neal third rather than fifth.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or you might go to this guy in the 7th inning versus the 8th inning out of the bullpen, a high leverage spot. But it's baseball. It's not like how you actually play the game.
One thing Mike Brown does great that Tibbs didn't do, and I remember Alicia, she's also kind of a Nuggets fan as well, so we went to Boston for a Celtics-Nuggets game.
Whoa. Your wife is not a 1,000% orange and blue. You said she's kind of a Nuggets fan?
Yeah.
Why?
She just loves Jokic. I've never met a Jokic fan in my life.
And now you married one.
Yeah, she loves Jokic. So we went to a Nuggets Celtics game. We were sitting right behind the Nuggets bench.
Oh, you went to Denver or in Boston?
In Boston. But we've been to Denver for games too. And I will never wear anything Nuggets, nor will my daughter ever.
There you go. Lay down the law.
But anyway, she played basketball in high school. She's a hooper. Very high IQ hooper, unlike myself.
Yeah, you were just a gunner. You want to shoot.
Yeah. So if our daughter has my trigger, but Alicia's smarts, she could be Sabrina. But anyway, Alicia said, "Look at all this." Mike Malone it was right before Malone got fired, but she was like, "Look at all the work the assistants do." She said, "Does Tibbs even let them talk?" So Mike Brown does a great job.
Yes, he does.
The assistants, Rick Brunson.
Yep.
They're all sometimes on the Knicks bench. You got 4 guys up at one time.
I know.
That never happened with Tibbs.
You see, that's a really good point. One of the things about being a great coach and having a great mind is empowering people that you hire. I mean, if you hire people and you don't let them say a freaking word or add a concept or take over a practice or interject in a huddle, are you really the perfect CEO? And I'm not saying Mike Brown's perfect, but I do think one of his absolute strengths, aside from offensive creativity, more of a modern vision for the NBA compared to somebody like Tom Thibodeau, all due respect, is letting the guys that he hired do what they're really good at. And there's no way Tom Thibodeau's doing that. There's no way.
No, he didn't.
I know.
At least from what we saw on the bench during the games. It was Tibbs up and down, Tibbs in every huddle. There's times when Coach Brown is 5 feet away from the huddle, just chilling. Chris Jent's drawing up a play.
Yeah. What I hate to even ask you this here. What happens if they don't win? For you?
For me, I think I just need a break for a couple of weeks in
You're
life.
You're not distraught?
I'd be devastated. Of course I would.
Come on, man.
Of course, I'd be devastated knowing we got this close. And I don't think this is going to be like another 27 years, but you also never know when this opportunity is going to come again. So if we did lose, I would definitely be really, really sad. But I would be smart enough to know that we'll be right back next year. But sports is funny.
Mm-hmm.
injuries, trades, hires, fires.
Yep.
It would be devastating.
Listen,
Especially
you're
winning 11 playoff games in a row. We haven't seen that since the 2001 Lakers.
yes,
Won the first 11 games.
the Lakers. Yeah,
The game
Lakers.
they lost was the Iverson Tyronn Lue game.
That was the first game of the series, by the way.
They won the next 4 after that. So
Yep.
yes, to play this well too and to lose would be devastating, especially the high the city is on right now, the state is on.
Yeah.
It would be a major heartbreak.
Would you say that? You know, I want to hear the list of priorities, right? So obviously, and it's so different from when I first met you. Now you're a husband, now you're a dad. It's crazy, and I'm so happy for you. I know you're already a great dad. I could see the joy, and I know you on that level, and I know how big your heart is and how good your heart is. But like the reshaping as you become. I mean, obviously you've been a man for a long time, but the responsibilities. It's a different burden. It's a different juggle. You seem to be doing it pretty well, but you know, Autumn's also a couple of months old. I mean, she's not crawling around yet. She's not going to school yet, not going to practice yet, not going to a game yet. Like, I think the real challenge, and it's a beautiful juggle, but it's a challenge down the road for you, is when, you know, she's active and she's doing stuff, and daddy, Knicks playing the Celtics at the Garden, but you know, you're coaching her as a 6th grade basketball. Like, it's going to change. You know that's coming, right?
Of course.
You know it.
Yeah. So, like, because I've gotten to do so much in my life, and I've been at 97% of Knick games since the year 2001.
Is that true?
Probably, maybe 93%, somewhere around there.
I mean, I believe it, but it's just an amazing number.
Usually,
wow.
Like this year, I missed 3 home games, 2 for the birth of Autumn, and we didn't go Christmas Day.
Okay. Oh, you did? Oh, yeah. Oh, you missed the Tyler Kolek show.
We were going to go, and it was Christmas Eve, and Alicia was like, "What do you think about not going tomorrow?"
Oh.
And I was like, "Let me throw up a post, see if I can get a couple bucks for these tickets," and threw up a post, and we stayed home.
No, but hold on a second. All right, that's good. You made a few. You know, obviously Santa's coming, so you got to replenish the Santa fund. We get that, but to me, see that's. I'm also hearing this from somebody who's been married for a long time. There's certain things that you got to write into the marriage, like my boys' golf trip. I'm going to go on no matter what. Fantasy football, and my wife knows this. The fact that she threw you a curveball on Christmas Eve and you acquiesced, that worries me, because now you're setting a precedence. What if she said, whoa, hear me, hold on. What if it's like, well, Thanksgiving Eve, Knicks are playing whomever, and my friends throwing a party at their new home up in New Rochelle. We have to go. Like, now you've already opened the door. Eventually, she's going to kick it through. You got to be careful.
But I would say I'll get you an Uber there. And it's also part of my career is being there all the time too. So
how'd you guys meet?
We met. She reached out to me about 3.5 years ago, asking about coming to one of my events on Instagram. We went back and forth. And she ended up not getting tickets, but she stayed following me because she read my Humans of New York story 5 years ago. And I noticed she had liked a few of my story posts. And I went to her page. I didn't see a guy. She was very beautiful.
Start checking around.
So I fired off a DM, just said, "Hey, how's your summer going?" Very normal. I'm not some weird, creepy guy.
No, I know you're not.
Wrote back. We started chatting. And a few weeks later, we had a date. And the date was actually the first date story is actually pretty good.
Let me hear it.
So she was, at the time, she was working in Garden City.
Oh, Long Island.
Yep. She said she was only available for lunch. So one of my favorite restaurants, 388 in Long Island, nice fancy Italian restaurant.
Oh, boy.
You know the owner's there. They don't open until 6. So I called the owner and said, "Listen, I got to take this girl out. Can I bring her for lunch?" They said, "Of course, the whole place to yourself."
Get the hell out of here. You serious?
Yeah.
The bold move. All right, keep going.
So she obviously it's first date, so I didn't pick her up. She met me there. I got there first. She gets out of the Uber. We walk into the restaurant. She's like, "Nobody's here." I'm like, "Yeah, it's all to ourselves."
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Now, I mean, what the hell did you do for the second date? Fly to Hawaii? I mean,
the second date, we just met up on. I had to go do something with the Knicks over the summer at Rucker Park. And then after that, I picked her up, and we just went to City Island and hung out by the water.
Yep.
So,
yep. Speaking of that,
never stopped. Like the second date was a week and a half after the first date. But after the second date, to this day, we've never stopped hanging out.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You mentioned a ruck, right? And I've seen because you always post. I mean, you always post you shooting. By the way, I'll beat you in a shooting drill.
I don't know about that.
I will beat you in a shooting.
All right, we'll do that one day.
Now, listen, I'm not taking anybody off the dribble, but if I'm standing stationary,
yeah, I'm done off the dribble too. I had my meniscus repaired 7 months ago.
I saw
now too.
yeah. So, but you didn't play all four. Did you play in high school the entire time?
9th and 12th grade.
And
10th and 11th, I was drinking and smoking too much.
Yeah, you were a big. You were partying. You were smoking blunts back in the day. You were banging back 40s, right?
Yep. Not anymore. No.
I know. What changed? I mean, usually, listen, I know kids are going to be kids and have a little bit of fun, but you were rolling those bad boys. I'm sure they were fatties, man. I don't know how good the weed was up in Walton, but what changed for you?
I would say my sister, by the time she got to like 4 or 5 years old, and I just like wanted to set a good example for her.
Yep.
And that definitely was a big change in me. I had a lot of trouble in high school. My whole 10th grade year, I was on probation for selling my grandparents' liquor out of the basement.
No way.
Yeah, I was on probation the whole year. I had to clean a cup once a week. I went to Scared Straight. I saw Son of Sam in his jail cell. When I was 14 years old.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so I had a lot of trouble growing up, especially being in Walton. It's good that you can run wild, but also kind of bad. We were, like you said, smoking bongs, drinking beers in the woods at 14 years old.
Yeah.
But by the time I got to like 22, 23, I put all that stuff behind me. Don't get me wrong. I still go out and have a beer here and there.
Yeah, you don't drink at all. I've been at some events. You might have a beer. Good for you. That's great.
But I used to be pretty wild from probably ages 14 to like 22.
Yeah.
And I just, like I said, I had so much responsibility for my sister.
I know you did.
I wanted to set a good example for her. And that was definitely a big change for me.
Now, but how do you get? I love the honesty there. Right? How do you get from hooping as a 9th grader and then doing what you were doing and then getting back on the team and in the 12th grade? Like that's kind of rare. If I'm the coach, I'm saying keep this knucklehead as far away from my team as possible.
So after the 9th grade season got over around February 1998, it was right after Ewing broke his wrist.
That was against the Bucks, right?
Yep. I found alcohol. I was 14 years old. I started drinking a lot, smoking a lot. And for the next 2 years, that's all I really did in high school. I partied 3 times a week, 2 times a week. And then summer going into my senior year, I started running. And I turned to like Forrest Gump. I lost like 50 pounds.
Yeah.
I was working on my hoops game, all day.
Yeah, you got a little game. I'll give it up. Go ahead.
And I made the team. And it was great. And then after basketball, my senior year, I got back to partying for a few years, more like regular stuff.
Yeah.
But 9th, 10th, and 11th grade, I was definitely out of control.
Wow.
But I worked so hard where I got recruited by the cross country team. I did pretty well in cross country, and then I made the basketball team. And I've always had a will to get there. Even like I ran the marathon 4 years ago. I've always had, like I said, I've had a will. And if you tell me I can't, kind of like, I'm not comparing myself to Jalen Brunson, but if people think I can't do something, I'm going to do my best to do it.
Yeah.
A lot of people thought I could never have a career being a fan or doing sports. And, now 10 emails a day offering me money to post things. So I never give up. I'm still like that. And I'm always going to be like that.
You've had that focus since the day that I met you. And, really, I want to impress this upon my audience. Like this, you heard a little bit of the road, and I'm sure some of you can relate to that. Maybe not at age 14, but everybody's dealt with different things, different demons, whatever. You in a lot of ways, Ant, you had every reason to fail in life. And I don't get too, but your relationship with your dad was on hold for a long time.
I didn't even meet him until I was 17, nor did I know his name.
Yeah. And your dad,
I was 17 years old.
What? I don't know if anybody knows this. Your dad was involved in Entourage, right?
Yeah. Kevin Conley plays my dad on Entourage.
That is
amazing. And the first time I met my dad worked on Entourage, and the first time I met Jerry, I met my dad for the first time in 2001. But then I didn't see him again until 2007. I guess he met me. He didn't think I was all that. And then when I met Jerry Ferrara in 2005, 2006 at the play-by-play, I think Eric Weinstein. That's my dad's name. And Jerry was like, Eric has a son? I was like, yeah, he does. So my dad and I reconnected in 2007 by a guy by the name of Vince Papali. Do you know who that is?
Yep, absolute football player.
I met the real Vince Papali at Steiner Sports. He was doing a speaking engagement, and the movie Invincible had came out the year before.
Good movie, Wahlberg. Good movie.
So when I met my dad, social media wasn't very prevalent. I lost his number. So I say to Vince, you might know my dad. And Vince says, who? I go, Eric, he's with Mark. And Vince like, oh, that's my guy. I'm going to text him right now. And I said, yeah, that's my dad. And of course, Vince said the same line. I didn't know E has a son. And he texted my dad. And my dad and I met up the next night at a restaurant downtown. We got reconnected, but I don't really talk to him too much now.
You don't?
He actually just had a daughter.
How old is your dad? How old is he?
72.
Wow.
The daughter's 3.
Wow.
And the wife is batshit crazy. She's like a 42-year-old. I don't know what she is. She's my age.
Yeah.
And he when Autumn was born, he wanted to like bond over like being first-time fathers, but I shut that down right away, and I really haven't talked to him since.
Wow.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
I know there was a sliver of an opening, and I knew it didn't go too far. I didn't know the extent. And then
I look at Autumn, and I couldn't. I mean, I hated we got stranded in Cleveland last week. I hated being away from her for a day and a half. So, you were okay being away from me for 23 years.
I don't blame you.
You know what I'm saying?
Blame you. I don't blame you.
I don't hate the guy, but like we're not bonding over being first-time fathers.
Good for you. No, I get it.
Wish nothing but the best. It's crazy. I do have another sister. That's 3, but I got my own life to worry about. He's out in California.
Yep.
So,
I'm not trying to get in the middle, but he didn't. You needed a lot of help, man.
Yeah.
You needed a lot of financial help, and he didn't help you at all.
Yeah, every now and then a couple bucks here and there, I made a car insurance payment, things like that, but nothing like that would have changed my life. And I don't mean that like disrespectfully.
No, I got you. So he really wasn't in the picture. Your mom was in the picture, but
in a bizarre way.
Have you been open about this? I know everything.
Yeah, no, my mom was.
I want people to know your story because it really is amazing.
Yeah, my mom was a major heroin addict from like I was born in 83. I think she got pretty big into it in like 78, 79. She was in a band at CBGB's.
Was she really? I didn't know that.
She was in a band, bartender. That was one of the most famous New York City clubs ever.
No, I know. I get it.
She got introduced into drugs at a very young age, and she was heroin. That's why I was with my grandparents. I moved with my grandparents upstate in 1992. My mom was off and on drugs from the late 70s to now. To be fair, she's been clean since 2010.
Nice.
She's been clean. She sees Autumn a few times a month. She calls me every day, and we're in a decent situation. We're in a pretty good spot ever since my sister passed. She apologized to me for a lot of things, which that was very important.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, we're in a decent spot. And, I don't expect her to do anything for Autumn, but she loves seeing her a few times a week.
Where's your mom living right now?
10 minutes from me in Pelham Bay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
She's up there.
Yep.
So you mentioned your sister, Gianna, right? I was looking for, a beard clipper, one of the, the attachments, right?
Yeah.
And I found Win for Gianna.
Gianna.
I found you still wearing it?
Yeah, I wear it every day.
Of course you are.
Yep.
That was the hardest thing. I remember talking to you several times when she was dying. She was dying.
She wasn't even fighting those last 5 months. It was, there was nothing that could be done.
And at that point, your mom was out of the picture, if I remember, right? It may be checking in, but definitely a lot of things.
Yeah, I had all responsibility, power of attorney, everything.
How you got through it, dude? How did you even the human spirit has no limits. So when you have to do something, you do it. But that's why, when I said before, you had every excuse. Your dad basically left you. Your mom was on heroin, and your sister. And I met Gianna a million times.
You met her for the first time around 2005 when she was 6.
She was little.
To the station.
She always had a Knicks jersey on. She'd come to the station. She was 14 when she passed away.
21.
No. In 14. What year was she diagnosed?
The first time, 2010.
Okay, I thought it was 14. I thought it was 2014.
The second time, 2019.
And I'm trying to remember because, God, the first time, did you think that everything was good after that first time? But it was once she got out of that, you felt pretty good about it, right?
Yeah. We had checkups all the time, but when she was cancer-free in 2012, around Linsanity, when they said she was cancer-free, sorry, that's how my brain works.
Yeah, I get it.
It was a great 7 years. Every February 13th, we celebrated. We did something a lot of fun to celebrate being cancer-free, and especially after that 5-6 year point.
Mm-hmm.
Never really think something's going to happen. And then one day in October of 2019, she wakes me up in the middle of the night and she can't feel her whole body and she's having a stroke. And, I had to get her to the hospital and she had emergency brain surgery that morning. And we couldn't figure out why a kid like that would have a stroke, doesn't do drugs, doesn't drink. And sure enough, a few tests later, about 10 days later after that, the stroke was caused by the cancer coming in, which was glioblastoma, which was a different brain cancer than she had the first time. And they told us from jump, she's got about 9 to 12 months to live. And her last 9 months, she lived every day like it mattered, and she couldn't walk. She was in a wheelchair. She still got to go to 2 Knicks games, which is very special for me.
I remember you taking her. I remember you taking her in the wheel. Didn't Clyde Frazier and Mike Breen come over?
Everybody. Clyde, Mike, Larry,
Allen Houston.
Yeah, they were. Allen Houston came to the hospital once. It was the fact that I got to take her to 2 more Knicks games is very special for me. Obviously, the last time I brought her, I didn't know it was going to be our last time going to a Knicks game, so I'll never forget that moment, of course. And then she passed in August of 2020, and I felt like I had no reason to live for about the first year and a half. I really feel like I had no reason to live. I didn't want to not live.
Yeah.
And then I kind of started training for the marathon. That was a big thing to get me back to life. And then the Knicks got good again, which was really a huge help for me. I've always said the Knicks have saved my life. And the Knicks have saved my life many times. The Knicks saved my life when I was a kid, no matter what I was going through, whether it was my mom on drugs in the city or not knowing my dad. All I cared about was when's the next Knicks game.
Yep. And
that's kind of how it helped me a lot in around 2022. The Knicks got better. I got in a good space. I did therapy for 1.5 years straight, every week, didn't miss a session. I was always very open about my grief. I'm still heartbroken every day, but I wanted to be happy. Once I said to myself about 1.5 years after she passed, I want to be happy. I want to laugh. I want to make people laugh. I want to be myself again. That was big. And then I got in a pretty good space. I met Alicia. I was happy before I met Alicia because I don't think it would have been fair to any woman I met if I wasn't happy when I met them. When I met her, I was in a good space. And now, I have a whole brand new life, and I love every second of it. So, it's amazing. And every day, I wake up next to Autumn. She usually starts in the crib, and then somewhere in between the next 8 hours, she ends up between us.
Oh, that's the best. I miss that so much.
I'm a heavy sleeper, so I don't know when she wakes up between 9 and 6 a.m. and comes between us.
Yeah.
Obviously, if Alicia needs me, I'm up right away. But she only wakes up usually once during the night, and then I get the morning shift. I usually have Autumn to myself from about 6 to 9. When we start our days. Alicia goes to work now probably 2-3 days a week. She works at the orthodontist.
Okay.
If your kids need any teeth work, let me know.
Yeah, well, they're gonna need braces like most kids.
Yeah, the doc does Invisalign and regular braces. Probably want Invisalign in 2026, I'm guessing. Even though it's probably a little more expensive.
Yeah.
But life is beautiful right now. I just want to keep it going. Don't want to jinx anything with the Knicks, with my own personal life. I don't believe in jinxes, man. I don't. Same. Neither do I.
I don't believe in jinxes. I don't believe in jinxes, like whether it's something trivial.
Yeah,
based on the story you just told us. Sitting in the same spot during a Yankee game that. Forget about that nonsense.
It's funny. For as nuts as I am, and I do a lot of interviews, a lot of people ask me, what are your superstitions? And I really don't have any. For as nuts and crazy as batshit as I am, I have no superstitions other than I wear my Knicks gear. But I wear a different outfit every game. I'm not wearing the same shirt every game.
Yeah.
I don't have any really.
Well, I got a question. So it's probably maybe the Sixers series, maybe early Cavaliers. I think it was Philly. I saw a picture on Instagram. You and Alicia wearing that black satin Knicks jacket with the orange, I think it was the starter. I mean, it's pretty dope. Thing was fresh.
New York or nowhere.
Oh, okay,
yes.
Yeah. Well, and it almost seemed like you were like, hey, is it like you didn't want to wear it or you didn't know why?
So I said, I think it's funny when sometimes couples match their outfits at games.
That's awesome. I mean, that thing is a sweet jacket.
So every game she's come to with me since then, we've matched outfits, and luckily we have a lot of duplicate stuff, and also I have a lot of older things that I can figure out how to match. So we'll definitely be matching for tomorrow night. We're going to the Garden to watch the game.
You are going to that,
unless I get a call from somebody. I'm flying out there, but
which you might, knowing you could.
Never know. But as of right now, I'll be in the Madison Club tomorrow night at the Garden to watch the game with Alicia. We'll definitely have some sort of matching outfits on. And I just can't believe it. I can't believe we're watching the Knicks in the finals tomorrow.
I know, man. I know. By the way, those watch parties, I know Game 7, there's a conflict with the concert. How do people even get those tickets? How does that happen?
The Knicks put them on sale. I think they're going to go on sale either 10 or 11 a.m. this morning. They just drop a link, and it's a free-for-all.
That's it?
Yeah.
And what do they charge? It's pretty cheap, right?
$10, and all the money goes to Garden of Dreams.
That I know. They do a great job with that. And there's concessions and everything's open.
Everything's
like you can get beer, you can get food.
Yep.
Wow.
I'll be in the Madison Club, so I'll have everything on the house.
Oh, I'm not worried about you. But up top, like, it's not 19,700.
No, I think tomorrow is going to be, my guess, 16 to 18,000.
Are you serious?
I think so. I'm not sure, but I think so.
Now, is that a good way to watch it? It sounds like a fun way, but knowing you got to be locked in every possession. You got to hear everything. And listen, people there are going to be, they're going to know when to shut up and when to, I get that. But to me, it's like I would do something like that with my son. I think that would be cool. But there are certain things I got to almost isolate myself, and I've got to hear every word, and I've got to be in my own zone. You got 16, 17,000 people around. Granted, they're amazing, awesome, well-informed Knicks fans that can cramp the style and get in your way the way you watch these games.
So the big screen Garden Vision, it's so good, man. It's not like it was 20 years ago.
No.
The sound system's incredible. So I'm not just saying that as, like, everybody calls me the company man on Twitter. It's really perfect to watch the game like that. With the way, if it was the Garden Vision of 20 years ago, it'd be a lot different.
Okay.
It's so good. It's so clear. The game sound is on, so it's really easy to watch the game on the big screen.
Let me get this guy, pop this up here. Who's this from? Tom from Huntington. Big fan of the show. Appreciate that, buddy. Wow, very generous. $20. You didn't have to do that, Tommy. Shout out to the chat, Anthony D, Sullivan Papane, Nixon 4. Finally, thank you, J-Rod, for getting rid of the mustache. My producer, J-Rod, for some reason, he showed up with this weird-looking mustache yesterday. I'm like, I didn't tell him to shave it. I'm like, that's an interesting look. But, Tommy, enjoy the series, and shout out to Ant, and shout out to Sullivan Papane, of course, the first sponsor of BT Unleashed, and of course the sponsor of 3 Burning Questions. Love those guys. TJ McManus, big, massive St. John's fans, and an important vehicle for the show here. All right. Right now, in your opinion, greatest Knick of all time is, just give me a name, no commentary. Who is it? Greatest Knick.
Patrick Ewing.
All right. Who's number 2? We all know the answer.
Walt Frazier.
All right. If Brunson wins, and when the Knicks win, and he wins Finals MVP, how's that list going to look?
Jalen Brunson's going to be creeping to that number 1 spot.
What do you mean creeping?
He's there. He's there.
Okay.
If the Knicks win a championship and Jalen Brunson's the MVP and he plays like Jalen Brunson, which Jalen Brunson usually does, he's the greatest Knick of all time.
I agree with you.
And he's awesome. He's so great at basketball.
He's amazing, dude.
He's incredible.
Dude, I know you saw this, and I know you appreciated this. The footage, he had to be 13, 14. He's in the park.
Yeah, with Rick going up and down.
And his pop's like, do it again. Too slow. Quicker. Do it again. Quicker. Too slow.
Tired is for the week.
Yeah, tired is for the week. Like, the thing about him, just from a basketball perspective, like, he plays. I thought he was going to throw one down the other day. He had a chance to.
I feel like he hasn't had a dunk as a Knick, but he does dunk in warm-ups. He throws the ball off the ground and throws it down.
That's what Mark Jackson used to do.
Yep. I don't think Jalen's had a dunk in a game. Maybe
I feel like he has. Not this year. I think he had 1 or 2 squeakers on the break, like when he first got here.
Never in the half court.
No way. Not going to cock it and yoke it in somebody's face. There's no way. But to me, I've watched the NBA longer than you, and you've watched it a long time. I've always said that Kyrie Irving is the best I've ever seen in terms of handle, and also, using the English off the backboard, the finish, the crazy finishes, like with both hands. Nobody touches him. To me, there is nobody in the history of and this is not being a prisoner of the moment. I've said this for years. Nobody in NBA history has the footwork and the timing and the manipulation of angles and spatial awareness, because quite frankly, if he didn't have all that, he wouldn't be able to do what he does.
He wouldn't be Jalen Brunson.
Jalen Brunson is the best ever at all of those things.
I can't. I'm trying to think of even players from the 90s or early 2000s, little guys especially. But they, like Gary Payton was awesome, but he wasn't doing Jalen Brunson things. John Stockton was awesome, but he wasn't doing Jalen Brunson things.
I'll tell you who's actually kind of close there, but they're not point guards. Believe it or not, MJ and Kobe, like their footwork on the fadeaways, the way they would work.
They've been above the rim a lot too.
No, I for sure. But I'm talking about more like they get the ball like in the semi-deep post and they kind of wait and then wait for the double or spin out and like the fall the way. And now obviously Kobe got that for Michael. But like Michael, like his fundamentals were amazing. Everybody
Paul Pierce was awesome with the footwork, as much as I hate to say it.
Paul Pierce, yeah, because he wasn't
footwork, he was awesome with it.
Yeah, but not as good as Jalen.
No.
By. Jalen's the best ever.
When he goes under or he goes like that. Oh, I got another one, although he can't shoot for shit.
Who?
Rondo, prime Rondo.
Rondo was pretty good at that. He was pretty good at that.
Rondo had some insane moves back in the day.
He was good with the English off the backboard as well. Very good at that. Let's just say, even though we know it's not going to happen, Knicks lose.
Okay.
Are you making a push for Giannis, or are we going to go?
No, I think you just
run it back, a little tweak.
Don't get swept. No, I think you just either could maybe make a little tweak or just come back and play better next year. This team is good for a few more years for sure. You do not make a push for Giannis. That's too much. Well,
first of all,
Giannis hasn't really played in the playoffs since what, 2022?
Yeah, 22, 20.
He played a couple games 2 years ago, but for the most part, 2022.
He is not. That's true because he got some action 23.
Yeah,
and he missed time. It wasn't this. That's true. It's been a minute.
I'm sure Giannis will still be great, but I don't think you need even if we lose, realistically, you don't need any major changes. Come back next year, play a little bit better.
Yeah, I'm just worried though. We're going to lose Shabbat, going to lose Mitch. I mean, there's decisions that's down the road, whatever. But
Coach Brown, one thing about Mike Brown is that he doesn't bite his tongue. He is not happy with Mitch right now, as I don't blame him.
What happened? What's the
story?
I
have no idea.
You got to know.
I don't. I really don't.
What do you think happened? What was he fixing the truck?
On his pickup truck or something.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Probably playing some country music and out in the yard.
He's a unique dude, isn't he?
He is a character.
Mitch doesn't have a worry in the world, man.
Everyone sees his social media. He's something.
Now
I love when he's on the court and healthy and throwing dunks and blocking shots and getting rebounds. He's
100%,
awesome.
100%. You know, you said like even if the Knicks get swept, and which they're not going to get swept.
Of course not.
I get that. Just to prove your point. But if they did get swept, would you then get rid of Mike Brown?
No, I don't. No.
I agree with you.
No, that's not. Nah, you got us to the finals for the first time in 27 years. You can't fire Coach Brown after that.
I agree with you. Not
bring back Tibbs like Billy Martin.
No. You got to win something to get back. I mean, Billy won, then he was fired, then he was brought back, then he won, then he was fired, then he was brought back. Tom was good, he just never won.
He was good.
At the
I feel bad for Tibbs a little bit, man. Like, imagine if we just won the championship, not this year but next year. He'd probably feel a little bit better.
Yep.
Man, I know he loves Jalen, he loves his guys, but it's got to be tough. I'm sure he's watching.
Yeah, you think he's rooting for him?
Yeah, I think so. He's rooting for Jalen for sure.
Yeah, true.
But it got to be difficult.
Well, those exit meetings, I mean, let's face it, a couple guys threw him under they ran over his back with a car. And I think it was Bridges, and I think it was Cat.
Probably. Well, Cat's been very complimentary of Tibbs, even early this year. So I wonder if it was Cat also.
So I don't think it would have been Josh Hart. Who else?
No, Josh and Jalen, absolutely.
Not Jalen, not Josh. It's got to be a
Josh was good before he was Nick, but Tibbs turned Josh into a beast.
He really did. He unlocked him a little bit there.
He was playing 46 minutes in playoff games in 2023.
I know. I know. The parade. Would you be at the parade? Of course you'd be at the parade.
I wouldn't stop for the world.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about that parade my whole life. You know, and I always think of one quote when I think of the parade. I think it was about 15 years ago. MSG Network did a great special. It was called The Spring of '94.
I remember it.
Narrated by our guy, Gus Johnson.
It was great. I love Gus. Have you seen Gus at all?
Yeah, well, he did it. He did a bunch of Knick games 2 years ago, the year DiVincenzo was here.
Yep, and he also does a lot of college games. So I see Gus a lot at the Garden, St. John's, UConn.
Gus is awesome.
The National Fox game. And by the way, Rice is he's a Johnny's guy. But he's kind of a late to the party Johnny.
By the way, I see Patino all the time at the gym.
Do you really?
Oh yeah, the Equinox in Mamaroneck.
Really?
Yeah. I say what's up. I never had a conversation. I say, "What's up, coach?"
He's the best, man.
He's always on the elliptical machine.
Yeah, it's funny. I remember. I guess it was right after COVID. Yeah, because Mike Anderson was coaching during COVID, but it was still a little there. And I remember I had to go and do the Red Storm report. I think it was the first episode, and Rick had COVID. And he actually, if you remember, he didn't coach. Was that the Seton Hall game? I forget. And they got blasted. I think it was Seton Hall. And this guy's out there on the elliptical with a mask on, just banging away for like an hour.
He loves that elliptical.
He's a lunatic.
And he goes to a restaurant. I've never seen him at the restaurant, though.
Yeah. Do you remember him coaching the Knicks or no? You're too young for that.
I don't. I remember him coaching this Kentucky.
Yep.
From the Celtics. I went to a Kentucky game at the Garden in '96. It was the ECAC Holiday Festival.
I love that.
It was St. John's versus Iona, Kentucky versus Ryder.
And Ryder.
So it was cool.
Ryder
I saw
made the Ryder baseball.
Tony Delk, Derek Anderson,
McCarty, right?
Mark Pope, Walter McCarty, Antoine Walker. That team was loaded.
I think it was loaded.
And St. John's with Felipe and Zendon Hamilton.
Yeah, I know. My boy Tariq Turner running point number 4. Think about the when we drafted McCarty, we had Dante Jones, McCarty, and Wallace. I mean,
I thought Wallace was going to be an awesome pro.
Me too. We couldn't do a little bit better. We had 3 first-round picks. That's part of the problem.
But listen, back to the special on MSG Network.
Yeah.
So Al Troutwig, the great Al Troutwig, rest in peace. Al's the man.
Rest in peace.
He's someone I think of a lot during this run.
Great person.
Him and Johnny Hoops.
Oh, Johnny Hoops is my guy.
So,
you know the story real fast with Johnny, how the night that I proposed to Jen, how I got the table at River Cafe. John Anderson.
Tavern on the Green.
No, I didn't go tavern on the. No, I've been there, but no, I didn't propose. Okay. No, we were at River Cafe on the water right by the bridge, and I was trying to get a table, and it's a year wait. And John Andres, I love that man. His wife was the florist for River Cafe, so she got us. Not only did she arrange a table with all sorts of flowers and stuff, but she also wound up letting the chef know. So the chef came out with certain wine, with like oysters and certain like things to the palate. Johnny Hoops was the absolute best, man. Yeah. And I remember the first Knick game that I called, and I had no business
in Atlanta.
In Atlanta, bro, I had no business.
Had a dunk.
Yeah, who did?
Stevie Francis on a breakaway.
Did he really? I had no business doing play-by-play at that point. I wasn't ready for it. I was a train wreck. But I remember getting on the Knicks plane, and John saying, and he had a very stately, those of you who remember John Andres, had a very firstly, he's a very big man, about 6'5", very good player too. Bay Ridge guy, growing up, and very stately delivery. And I remember him saying, we're getting on the plane. He's like, now, Brandon, not like in a not admonishing me in a friendly way. Now, Brandon, just so you know, the first section is for the coaches and the second section is for the broadcast. And then he just laid the whole thing out. Hey, when we get to the hotel, I'm not going to talk in his voice the whole time. When you get to the hotel, do this. And we roll into the hotel, and it's so different because I was doing a lot of road trips with St. John's at that point as well. It's the exact opposite. Like you roll into the Four Seasons with a pro team. There's an envelope on the table with money and a room key, we'll see it shoot around. And, he told me which bus to get on, what to do at shoot around and all that stuff. And I remember it was at the Four Seasons in Atlanta. I remember waking up that morning. I remember talking to my dad. And I remember opening it was probably 9 o'clock in the morning I was already up, but ready to start the day. And I open up the blinds and I'm just looking in Atlanta. And I remember I just had tears in my eyes. I'm like, man, I'm calling a Knick game tonight. My God. And I'm sure I was horrible.
You did a few more that year too, right?
I did 11. I went out, dude.
That season or the next year too?
Both. But the one year I did 11, I did Kevin Durant up in Seattle.
Oh, wow.
I did a Durant Sonics game. I went out to Houston, and I remember just staring at that fucking banner from 94. Yep. It was literally right next to us, and I just looking at it. I went to Houston, went to Seattle, went down to Philly, did a couple of home games. I remember Nate, I think it may have been maybe Portland. Nate scored like 40-something. You probably remember. What was the big game where Nate went bonkers?
In Atlanta, maybe?
No, at the Garden. At the Garden. No.
Oh, that was on a Saturday night in 2008, maybe?
Like 44. Like went absolutely he went crazy.
We played the Pistons the night before, and we played the
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
I went down to the old arena in Orlando where Shaq and Penny played. Yep. I went out to Toronto. It's funny. I got a quick side for you. And then get back to the 94 thing on MSG. I'll never forget. I'm in Toronto, and I'm in the gym. And the game's the next day, and I'm like, whatever, dude. I mean, the way these guys travel, the way they live, it's ridiculous, bro.
Not too bad a life.
Yeah, I mean, even St. John's travels really, really well now with Rick and everything, with the money and the investment in the program. But I remember I would always get like a steam bath, like if there's a sauna, like I'd always I'd maximize the stay. And I remember I'm getting a lift on, and Isaiah left, and Isaiah comes in, and just me and him in the gym. And I got along great with Isaiah. And even though he drove me nuts the way he ran the team, and it was like there was a lot of shit going on with Steph, right? And I remember asking him, like, Steph gonna play? Like, what's going on with Steph? He's like, dude, this is awful, man. This is horrendous. Like, it is a reinforcement, just to take it back full circle before you get back to the video that you want to tell me about. It is a reminder for those OGs who've been watching this mess forever, where we were and where we are starting tomorrow. So pick it up with the 94 thing. Go ahead.
I don't remember the exact quote, but they were talking about the Rangers parade. I think it was the day of Game 5 at the Garden, the OJ Chase, or maybe Game 4, one or the other. Okay. And I think the quote Al Trout basically said, if 1.5 million came out for the Rangers, what would have come out for the city's game?
3? We get 3?
Well,
what's the highest number we ever got for the Yankees?
I'm not probably about that 1.5, 2 million probably.
I would think. I'm not trying to diss the Rangers. I would think the Rangers. I would think the Rangers will be less than the Yankees.
It was the Rangers' first one in 54 years. Maybe
I understand. That's true. That's true.
And over the summer, but I went to a couple Yankee parades. A Knick parade would just look so cool. It'd be
my
orange
God.
And so blue and.
You had a good tweet the other day. You were talking about because I used to love going there. I know you did as well. Like, where is Modell's when you need him?
I know.
Come on.
When I got back from Cleveland, I went to Dick's to get the hat, the shirt.
Yeah, you got the shirt too.
But there was nothing like Modell's back in the day. Also, another good one was Sports Authority.
I like Sports Authority.
Sports Authority was great.
That was strong. That was.
I'll tell you what, Dick's is pretty good.
I agree. Dick's is fantastic, bro. Honestly, it is really. They've got a lot of good like baseball gear. Like they've got good stuff. So how do you select?
They have a lot of good basketball hoops.
They do, yeah. How do you select the attire? Like, what are we rocking? Game 1, 2? Do you have it all laid out?
No, so I don't really know what I'm wearing until I get out of the shower, and then
is that true?
Yeah. Then I put it all together. I like to go maybe something retro as a shirt with a newer hat or an older hat, and maybe a retro shirt depending on the weather. I figure it out, and I have a lot of Knicks gear.
How many jerseys you have?
Probably over 50.
All right, so
I don't wear jerseys as much anymore.
I know, but I know you wear shorts. You got the black shorts. You got the white.
If the weather's going to be like over 80, but it's always cold in the Garden.
Yeah.
But I believe wore shorts to one playoff game this year. That was Game 1 versus the Cavs.
Yeah, those legs look a little pasty, bro. You got to get a little sun on them. Come on, man.
The legs are a little white for sure.
Yeah. Have you got to know James Dolan at all?
No.
You've never, no interaction at all?
Once said, "What's up, Mr. Dolan?" And that was it.
That's it?
Yeah.
It's amazing. I thought you may have, bumped into him here and there. It's all the stuff you do at the Garden. It's amazing how his persona has totally changed.
Oh, of course. Listen, winning cures everything no matter what.
I know for sure. But he's even changed his demeanor. I know you see the videos. He's getting out of the limousine. He's giving out signed basketball. He's interacting with people. Instead of seeing this.
Yeah. No, it's been awesome. It's been great to see.
It's my hope that Woody could take a page from him and wake up, get his act together. Woody Johnson, that
crazy.
clown.
The Jets haven't been in the playoffs since 2010, right?
No shit. I know.
That's crazy.
Do you have a little curveball for you? Do you have a young? I'm sure the audience would enjoy this, and you could say it. Even if you think it's too wild, that's what we do on the channel. Do you have a story about something that maybe you remember me doing that I don't remember doing, or like early on at 10:50? Anything jump out? You saw it all, dude. So,
maybe
you were there for some.
Yeah, but like an embarrassing story.
Whatever you want, I don't care.
Like you getting upset about something?
Sure.
Okay, I got a great one for you. Then the guy I'm still in touch with.
Who?
Brian Graham.
Oh, okay.
So you were in 2005 Final Four.
I like Brian Graham, by the way.
I went with you in 06 to the Final Four, but 2005.
Hey, by the way, we interviewed You Got Me Kareem.
Yes, I did.
And that was a great
interview. That was awesome.
Yeah.
And so St. Louis, you went by yourself to the Final Four. So I think you were supposed to go with like Tom Keegan, but he got fired the day you had to leave for St. Louis.
Holy shit, that's right.
So you're in St. Louis, and I'm back at the station.
Yeah.
And there's another show live on the air, but you had Chris Paul ready to go for an interview.
Okay. Yeah. And by the way, CP3 was rocking a Yankee cap in that interview. I'll never forget.
It was like Brian Graham's first day on the board.
Oh.
So you call me, you're like, tell the board op, we're gonna tape an interview with Chris Paul, but it was BG's first day. He really didn't know what to do.
I got you.
So you were fired up.
I was fired up.
But then we ended up getting Chris Paul live.
Yeah, we did.
Yep.
No, and Brian's a good dude. He's in Massachusetts. Awesome. He's in Massachusetts, right?
Yes. Yep.
Is he still in the business?
I don't think. No, I think he's in real estate.
That's right. I've seen some because on Facebook I've seen some stuff.
So you know what's crazy about those interviews back in the day at 1050? They weren't so. I don't want to call out my boss at the time. So
just say it, dude. What do you mean?
Spielberg. We did not archive our interviews, but WFAN started archiving their interviews in like 2003. So if freaking Joe Torre was on the Fan with Mike and Chris, I can go click on my fucking big ass gateway computer and listen to the interview.
Yep.
So we did some pretty solid interviews at ESPN Radio. Yourself, Michael Kay, and them.
Yeah.
I swear to freaking God, I said to Aaron, I go, Aaron, we have to archive our interview so fans can go back and listen. And he basically was like, we're so good here at 1050. You need to be listening live all the time. That's what WFAN does. If you want to hear, Derek Jeter with K, you need to be listening to the radio at 3:45. That's not realistic for radio.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hold on. I'm going to let you finish. And I still talk to Aaron a lot. Great guy. Love him. But in his defense, when he was saying that, the world was so different. He wasn't as wrong as you're making it out to seem now.
But he told me that. He was like, if you need to listen, if Marbury's on with Stephen A., you better be by your radio.
Yeah.
But I'm like, well, WFAN archives their interviews. And he's like, we're not WFAN.
Hey, that's for damn sure. We're getting our fucking face kicked in. As much as I love being at 1050, I'm saying, get me to a real station.
So he told me that. And they eventually, I'm sure, started archiving the interviews. But they would just, if there was a good interview, they would just replay it on the next show. Like A-Rod was on with Kay, and, the next show would just play it. For 15 minutes.
Were you there the day we mentioned both gentlemen before, and I love them both, man. And I think the last time I saw Wally was, if I have this right, remember he was on the Yankee beat for ESPN for a long time. Great writer, great boxing historian. Wally's he's a real one, man. And it was when I went to San Francisco after I left 1050, and the Yankees are playing the A's, so I'm in the press box and I see Wally. I think that's the last time I saw him. It's been a long time. So that's like, 2012, whatever it might be. Were you there? And I thought that you were the day that Wally almost beat up Keegan. Were you there for that?
I feel like it might have happened a few times. So as far as beat up, I'm not sure, but I also could have been. I was also tone deaf for a few months where I think it was like Hurley or somebody said to me, like, those guys don't like each other. I didn't realize why every break Wally would come into the control room.
Yeah.
So I was just so happy to be there. I didn't understand.
Yeah, I get it. And listen, Keegan, who is a brilliant writer and very witty and the complete opposite personality of Wally, and definitely not a fighter. I remember, do you remember that little tiny studio where they used to do production stuff?
Yes.
Not where
the control room and the tiny studio.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. So we did a lot of.
Colin Cowherd would record there a lot.
Correct. And I don't even know what the hell happened. But they were like oil and water. They were just, and listen, I mean, Wally was a Golden Glove boxer. So even
I saw his Instagram the other day.
He looks great.
Not a guy you want to run into in a dark alley.
No way. Gentlemen, he beat up Jim Rome. He punched Jim Rome in the face.
Oh, yeah. Crazy.
There was something, I don't mean to cross wires with the stories, but I think it was in San Diego when the Yankees beat them in the World Series. And if I remember this right, and Wall, if you're watching, I'm not trying to misrepresent you, bro, but it was something along the lines of Wally used to go on Jim Rome's show
I found Wally.
I know you mentioned that. And the way I heard it, I think even Kay may have been there. And I think I'm pretty sure this is true, where like Rome was coming down the stairs and Wally was going up, and I heard Wally just popped him.
Oh, that's crazy.
That's what I heard. And
Rome got popped by Wally and Jim Everett.
Yeah, I know. And thank God when you are in the presence of somebody who can legitimately fight and is angry, you got to let them know, dude, I'm not putting hands on you. I'm coming as a peacemaker.
Yeah, that's
you got, and I made sure that Wally and I had a really good relationship.
Yeah.
So I wasn't, but I'm like, dude, number one, you're gonna get fired, and number two, it'll be over in a second. Like this is going in a bad spot, And thank God he kind of got it together.
The only time I remember real crazy shit happening was the famous the prank with Michael Kay.
Oh, with Piazza?
with Larry Hardesty.
With Piazza.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was Mike. They said the trade, I believe, was Mike Cameron for Bernie Williams on April Fool's.
No, wasn't it maybe not? Maybe they did it twice to Michael, but I know Michael was pissed. Didn't they tell him on the air that Mike Piazza got dealt on April Fool's Day? Wasn't it?
Yeah, I thought it was Mike Cameron, but
I thought it was Mike Piazza. That's a big difference, dude.
For Bernie Williams.
I don't remember if Bernie was the other aspect. I mean,
I think but yes, I was there. It was April Fool's Day.
Think about that.
They had Larry Hardesty call in.
I love Larry. Larry's an old
Larry's the man.
Can you imagine somebody doing that? And that was, listen, we had a lot of talent at 1050 at that point, right? Kay, LaGreca, Max came after that. Max Kellerman, Stephen A, myself. Like we had Mike and Mike. Like we had a good lineup, right? Colin is a great national figure. But could you imagine somebody doing that to Francesa?
No.
Could you imagine that?
No.
What?
No.
There just weren't many rules at the station.
No,
like
I remember Aaron having Larry call in, and Larry, he's a reporter. He's going to do what his boss says.
Yeah,
that was probably never a great idea.
Oh, and Kay flipped out, right?
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Blame him.
It was right when I think Kay he had just got put on afternoons. Aaron went from producing that show to producing Stephen A. Hurley took over Kay.
Yeah.
I just answered the phones when needed.
Yeah, no, I know. Were you there the day that me and Herm got into it? Were you there that day?
Herm Edwards?
Herm Edwards.
Yes, about lying about the Charger job?
No. Wally and the Key, you had to be there. It was Wally and Tom's show, and I was doing the updates, and I think it may have been during Christmas break or something.
Did it have to do with John Abraham?
Nope. And they were both off, and I'm hosting the afternoon show, right? And it's just me. And Herm calls up, and Jets were in a rough spot. And I remember I kept saying Lamont Jordan was on the Jets, and Curtis was having a very down year. And I kept saying, you got to play Lamont. You got to let the young buck eat. Let's go. I mean, all due respect, I love Curtis, but this ain't working. He's averaging like 3.1 yards a pop. Jets offense looks awful. You just drafted this beast from Maryland in round 2. Give him the football. Anyway, so you can imagine what I'm saying back then. I mean, just unhinged, like a little thing. So I get Herm on the show because Herm was contracted with the afternoon show once a week. And by the way, he'd get about $100,000 to do that. Did you know that?
I remember we had Eli Manning.
Those guys would get over $100,000 to come on and talk for 10 minutes.
Yeah, they weren't long interviews, those like set interviews.
Yeah. And like when Michael had Rex would give you stuff. Eli's a gentleman, didn't give you a ton. Herm was pretty good and this particular day that I'm referencing, I was just bent out of shape about the Jets. I had it up to I was done. I was livid. And all right, joined now by the head coach of the Jets, Herm. Welcome to the show. Brandon filling in for Wally and Tom. However, I introduced him, and like I didn't ask him a question. Instead, I continued my verbal assault on the Jets, and I can own this because I was young, and I didn't ask a question, so I don't really know what I was expecting him to respond to. I was just airing my grievances about the Jets, right? So I say whatever I say, and I learned a lesson that day, and I'll never forget. So when I said what I said, I'm like, in my own mind, I'm like, God, that was awesome, right? And I lean back from the microphone, expecting Herm to speak for a while, and he just I'll never forget this, Ant. He goes, yeah, one word answer.
Yo, that's
yeah, right. So now I'm a little flustered. I haven't really, again, this 20 years ago. I got a lot to learn. Right?
Not happy.
What's that?
Were the bosses happy?
Well, that's a different story. They were always up my ass with that. I didn't care what they thought. I was doing what I had to do. And so, and you know that. I didn't they'd call up whatever, call the control room. I don't care. I mean, we're doing radio. We're not doing this, this Disney. We're doing talk radio. So anyway, after Herm goes, yeah, I'm like, oh shit, I'm a little scattered. I come back and now I stumble and I basically repurpose the question or repurpose the statement. But again, there's no question, like an idiot. That's my fault. And again, Herm goes, yeah, that's it. Yo. I've had him on the air for 2 minutes. He said 2 words. Each was 1 syllable, and each word was yeah. I'm like, oh boy. And I'm like, the next words out of my mouth were, what's the matter, Herm? You don't feel like talking today?
Yo, that's...
Speaking of archives, I wish I can find that, right? So he goes, oh, no. Herm like that. No. He goes, you know everything. He goes, you and that other guy on the other station. He meant Joe Beningo. You guys know everything about the Jets. Yeah, that's fine. He goes, how about this? how about they were still at Hofstra? He goes, how about I'll invite you down to Hofstra one day. You could sit in on film session and you could tell us how to run the offense.
Yo.
And he didn't think that I was going to say what I said. I'm like, anytime. When can I come? And then he was flustered. Right?
Did you ever go?
No, he was being facetious. He wasn't actually inviting me to go and cut up film and tell him how to beat the Patriots and the Dolphins. So the funny story about this, Ant, oh, God, the early days of 1050. So now, I guess it's like a year or two later. I guess it's a year later. I am on crutches because I had ruptured my Achilles. You're driving me around. I'm doing the show with Stephen
We went to Hofstra.
We went to Hofstra. And I remember, so it's me and Stephen A out there, and the Jets PR guy comes over, and of course, we're going to have the coaches on. We're going to have, we're the home with the Jets. We're going to get everybody. And the PR guy comes over. He goes, listen, to me, not to Stephen, because Stephen didn't really, I don't even know if he knew anything about the Jets at that point. And he goes, listen, he goes, I think we got to smooth some stuff out before Herm. I'm like, absolutely, right? So I hop over on my crutches over to Herm Edwards, and we shake hands, and I love her. And from that point on, my God, I love that man. He goes, and we had a good conversation, very civil, men's bygones, move on, whatever. And then he wound up coming on the show. But before he came on the show, he goes, I'll never forget him. And I was like, oh, that felt good. He goes, you look like you played something. What'd you play? I'm like, a little respect from the head coach of the Jets. Here we go. I'm not some slob.
Yeah.
I'm 5'2", 75-pound overweight, nothing. At least he thinks I played something. I'm like, yeah, I'll play a little college baseball. So that got it off on the right foot. He goes, let me ask you something. And it wasn't in like an aggressive way. He goes, do you think we don't want to win? He goes, do you think we're not trying to win? And I go, no, coach, I absolutely know that you are. I get that, right? And he goes, I'll never forget this too. He goes, you're young. He goes, don't be like that other guy. Again, he referenced the other guy, Joe. He goes, don't be like the other guy on the other station, always negative.
Yeah.
I go, coach, I'm not negative. I go, I'm honest. I go, it's my job. I'm a liaison to the audience. I'm a Jets fan, but I'm always going to keep it real. But we really flushed it out, and it was just such an awesome moment. But I'm pretty sure that you were at Hofstra that day.
Yeah, I think I was. And I remember there was an issue with PR about like John Abraham signing autographs or not signing autographs for kids. And I remember Ira from Manhattan.
No. It was the Brickishaw Ferguson.
Okay.
Who's a great guy. That just got a little bit.
And I remember Ira from Staten Island was there.
Oh, I don't remember that. Was he there?
Yep, he was there in a little visor and a sleeveless shirt, I think.
I
was there with Jody. I was there with you. Yes. I was there with Jody Mack one day.
Yeah, we were out there with Jody. Ira always does wear the sleeveless shirts. I'm curious because when you reached out to 1050, did you reach out to the fan?
No.
So why 1050?
I listened to the fan a little bit. I was really obsessed. I thought you were awesome. I love Kay. I love Wally. And I basically listened to the 1050 8 hours a day.
Gotcha.
I was really like a big fan of the whole station.
Gotcha.
No, I thought I like Salvia. He was awesome.
Oh no, Joey Salvia.
Yep, Joey was great.
Joey was cool. Joey was
with his songs. I thought when Joey, Kay, and Don got going, they were really funny.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. Those guys had a really good show.
And so I really just loved the station. So getting be a part of it for like 4 years, then like later on did a few on-air things with them. It was really cool.
Yo, you want to hear a funny one? Just imagine this. 2003, Yanks playing the Marlins World Series, right? Giambi. Remember Giambi hurt his back?
Yep.
Okay.
I do.
And we were at
David Wells in the same series.
Yep. And Sean Hannity had the big, just because it was the same station, the same umbrella, had a big function at the Rainbow Room. So like Pete Doherty, all the sales guys are there, a lot of the on-air talent. And I'm there. And like we're at the bar watching the World Series and it wasn't going well. Then we're hammering shots. We're absolutely wasted. Tim McCarthy is our boss. And Tim is one of my favorite people in the world, a great programmer.
I ran into him a year or two ago.
Did you really?
Yep. He's like, wait, I know you.
Yeah.
Isn't your nickname Balls or something? Swear to God. It was at Yankee Stadium in the Legends Lounge.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
Great guy.
Yeah, he was
Long
awesome.
story short, we're starting to get out of control. Like and again, it's not just like me and Tim are at a bar and there's no one else. Like the corporate suits are there, everybody's wearing tuxedos.
Yep.
And we're hammering shots at the bar. We're getting bad. And I just remember And then, by the way, after that, we wound up going out after it again. But Tim's like, all right, man, we got to leave. I forget who I was, in a good way. Not like we were fighting, but we were just really loud and like probably cursing and mad at the Yankee result. Next thing I know, me and Tim McCarthy are wrestling in the elevator. This is my boss.
Oh, that's insane.
Wrestling in the elevator. And it spills out into the lobby. And then it spills out into the street. And then me and Tim and I guess Doherty and I guess all those other guys, we just wound up going to the bar. We left the function. We just picked it up like nothing happened.
That's wild.
Dude, those were the early wild days, man.
And there was no social media. It was fun. I'm so glad I got to never me personally, my wildest dreams thought I would ever get to be a part of like a radio station and get to know people I grew up like thinking were cool and have all this happen. So it's those days are some of the best days of my life being at ESPN Radio. Just a few years before I was in high school upstate, and I thought I was going to work for the city of New York for the rest of my life. There's nothing wrong with that, but I thought that was my life. So those early 10, 50 days, man, I incredible.
Me too. As much as you complain about stuff, I learned so much. I worked with great people. It was awesome. Listen, brother, I'm going to let you bounce. Last word on the Knicks here. I really wanted to get you. I knew I was going to get you on. I just didn't know when, and I wanted to do it. I was hoping that we would get to the finals because that's when I wanted to get you up here. Enjoy the ride, brother.
I'm enjoying every second of it, man. I'll be at the Garden tomorrow. I'm sure for Game 3, I'm going to be there at like 2:00. I just can't imagine. Just like I'm thinking of like Game 3. Hopefully, as long as we come back tied at 1, 2-0 would be incredible. 1-1 is perfect.
Yep.
Thinking of the anthem and Mike Washevsky getting to announce the starting lineups. It's going to be incredible. It's going to be awesome.
Nobody deserves it more than you do, man. I mean, you are a great story of perseverance and integrity, inspirational, honestly, and to so many people. I promise you that people who I know a lot of people know you, but people who don't know that backstory, dad, with your mom, with your sister, really compelling, really raw, really real stuff. And I love you, man. I'm rooting for you. And let's tilt a few back at the parade in a couple of weeks.
Absolutely. Love you, man. Thank you for having me. It's been quite the honor. And let's go Knicks and let's keep this going.
Go kiss that little baby of yours, man.
I can't wait.
Welcome to fatherhood, dude. I'll talk to you, man.
The best hood.
No doubt. The best, even better than our Knicks.
Yep, absolutely.
You got it, Rice. Thanks, brother.